Welcome back. This section we're going to talk about what goes where. So you're probably at a point where you're already questioning about your notebook setup and what this is going to look like for your students. So let's go ahead and get started and discuss the table of contents, entering some new items, and giving you some examples of what this notebook is going to look like for you this year. So this is general information for you to know what goes on what side in your interactive notebook. Keep in mind that we are activating the sides of the student brain. The left side controls the right side. The right side controls the left side. With the left side controlling the right side, that would be the teacher input. Which, by the way, where would these notes go since we're giving you the information, us being the teacher and at this time you being the learner? If you said the right side, you would be correct. Continue to write these items down so you have an idea of where things are going to go as you proceed into your classes with interactive notebooking. So to pick up back where I was talking a moment ago, the input that we're doing right now is considered class notes or discussion notes. You can also add reading notes or handouts for students, and those would be inserted on the right-hand side of the notebook. These are the informational, facts, logistics, and orderly things that you want your students to have when receiving new content. The left side of the notebook is reserved for student work, or what we call output. The first few items that you see on the very top of that list are all student creation. Brainstorming, concept maps, drawings, writing prompts. As we get a little bit further down into the list, you will see worksheets. Worksheets can be student output, but need to have some open-ended questions. This shouldn't be something that the teacher is necessarily going to walk through and give answers. This is to allow students to provide you with a more organized way to show you their thinking and to share with each other their thinking. So let's go ahead and look at an example of what this might materialize in a student notebook. Take a moment and pause the video here and discuss in your groups the things that you see. Look at the left side and the right side of the student notebook. It's divided down the middle to simulate what this might look like. What did you talk about in your groups? Did you notice the annotation on the student notes and also the drawings on the left-hand side of the notebook, making thinking visual for the student and for the teacher to know what's going on in the student mind? This is great for all learners, but we want to encourage narration, annotation, drawings, labelings, especially for English language learners, your SPED students. This lets us know that they're making connections with the new words that they're learning. Again, this is good for all students, but to know that everyone is with you, definitely necessary when moving on through content. This teacher also included a writing prompt in addition to the drawings and the labeling. So we get some more information on how students are using the vocabulary that they've been introduced to. This might be another version of something that you add to a student notebook. This is what we call a mind map. Students put ideas together based on information that they know and show the connections. Pause the video here and maybe create a left side concept map of your own, using vocabulary from this type of unit, matter, or maybe the concept that was previous, such as ecosystems, biomes, cells. You can pause the video here. Your facilitators also may have a list of vocabulary words for you to connect together. So what does this look like in class when it comes to note-taking? Let's go ahead and take some notes. Here's a couple of entries to get us started. Pause the video here and allow participants to make entries. I also want to draw to your attention the assignment numbers. These can be used in a variety of ways. This is just one format of many that we used for this training. If you notice, just like the graphic organizer entry, we have 1A or 1L, meaning left side page. As you continue down, you'll see the Earth Notes, which has a 2B or 2R, meaning right side. So this is teacher notes or content that your students need to have to underline and highlight, much like you saw in the student example a moment ago. Go ahead and pause the video and take a moment and create these entries. Your facilitators will hand out a sheet that is titled Layers of Earth. With your group, look through this handout and highlight and underline any important information. You'll want to discuss that information and how it's going to relate to students in the classroom. If this is above or below the TEKS that you cover, we are only really using this as an example. How might you use this in class? Pause the video here and give participants a few minutes to complete the task. Since you've completed the task, you're going to insert this on the right side of your notebook, just like you have in your table of contents notated. Next, your facilitators are going to give you a handout called Layers of Earth, and it's a foldable this time. You're going to create the foldable and glue it on the left side of the page. This is considered student output. Color it as you see appropriate, if there's colors available or if you have your own. Take a few minutes to review the notes on the right and make some connections. That's what the notes are intended to be, as support for student thinking and to fill in any gaps that they might have in new learning. Once you finish, go compare your notes and your foldables with those of your wanting gibbous buddy. Make any adjustments you feel necessary. You can pause the video here until participants have had a chance to compare their notes with their new buddy and have returned to their seats. This might be an example of a student artifact from completing a foldable and the Earth's structure handout. If you notice, the teacher has also requested the student to make additional extensions to relate it to items that the student might be familiar with, which is important. What if I wanted to use a video? Well, of course, you can use videos and interactive notebooks in collaboration. You might want to give the students some notes to take in order to understand what the video is talking about. You might want to give them some notes to start with for discussion. Here we've done a new entry, and if you'll skip a line, for friction notes. So our video may be over something with physical science. This is going to go again on the right-hand side of the notebook. Here are the notes you will take. Pause the video here while participants copy down the notes with holes. You can also include labs. Once you've watched a video and/or discussed some notes with content so they have some background knowledge, you can move on to a lab, or vice versa. Do the lab first so they have some exploration in place before talking about the content. And you've also engaged the student and hooked them onto the content before you get into it. You are going to complete a lab in the next tutorial video.